You slept for 8 hours. You woke up, reached for your phone, and have remained completely motionless in bed ever since. You haven't run a marathon. You haven't worked a 12-hour shift. You haven't even left the house. Yet, despite the lack of movement, you feel drained. You are experiencing a level of fatigue that doesn't seem to match your physical reality. It leads to a strange question. What is the brain actually doing while the body is doing nothing at all? This feeling suggests that exhaustion is more than a physical metric. It's a sign that the mind is carrying a load that sleep alone cannot fix. Look at a typical morning. You check 3 messages, you scroll a feed, you watch a 15-second video, then swipe to the next. Every one of these actions has an invisible price. Each notification forces the brain to abandon its current thought and pivot its attention to something entirely new. Alerts and emails demand instant reactions, slicing cognitive capacity into fragmented slivers. Inputs arrive so rapidly, the brain never rests. The system hits full capacity without clearing its cache. Caught in this switching loop, the mind never lands on a single task. Lying physically still while consuming digital media is an intense form of cognitive labor. It is the opposite of rest. Physical fatigue usually leads to a logical response. You sleep. But mental overload often triggers the exact opposite behavior. We try to solve the feeling of being overwhelmed by adding more input. We scroll further and watch more videos, hoping that enough distraction will eventually lead to relaxation. We do this because silence has become uncomfortable. The moment the screens go dark, the psychological environment changes. Without a distraction to occupy the mind, the quiet is suddenly filled by a rush of delayed anxieties and the heavy backlog of unprocessed thoughts from the week. This creates a cycle. Mental overload causes discomfort. That discomfort triggers a search for distraction, which leads back to even more overload. Constant digital input functions as a shield. It keeps the backlog of our own thoughts from rising to the surface. Breaking the cycle requires a physical intervention. You have to place the phone face down and allow the room to become quiet. There are immediate withdrawal symptoms. The brain, used to constant stimulation, begins to search for its next hit of information. 10 minutes pass, then 20. You sit still and endure the friction of having nothing to consume. Eventually, the internal pressure shifts. The urgent need to escape your own thoughts begins to vanish. Enduring that initial discomfort is how the mind processes its backlog. It is the only way to reach a state of genuine mental peace. The goal is not to quit the internet entirely. It is to stop automatically filling every empty physical moment with digital input. This requires single tasking. Eat a meal without a screen. Walk outside without headphones. Work without switching between apps. You must protect your attention. You are the one who decides which information deserves space inside your head. In a world screaming for attention, the discipline to simply stop and turn off the noise is the most effective way to regain control.